We're finally doing it. We are starting Alchemized. Honestly, it could be heavier than my cat. Look what I write. Done. Now, I am notoriously bad for saying that I have to pick up a book when it feels right. You know, the time has to feel right. I have to feel like everything in the universe is aligned. So then I pick up this book at the minute. And then what happens? I don't pick up the book. So, do I slightly think the universe aligned in the sense that I have read so many of my February TBR books this month and I feel ready for this? Yes. The universe is also aligned because it started snowing again today and it's cozy and it's warm in here and I am just so ready to dive in. I have somehow managed to not spoil this book for myself. How? I don't know. All I know is what's written on the back, and that is, in this riveting dark fantasy debut, a woman with missing memories fights to survive a war-torn world of necromancy and alchemy, and the man tasked with unearthing the deepest secrets of her past. That is the extent that I know, and people sobbing. So, I'm prepared. I have already had a very tearjerker filled month. Might as well finish it off with a bang. I have no idea how long this book is going to take me. The only thing that is making me feel slightly better about the size of this book is that my copy of Brimstone, which I have read, is in fact bigger than my copy of Alchemized. I'm pretty sure that Brimstone is like half the pages. I don't know about word count, I have no idea. But pages wise, it's about half. But I assume that like page size, page thickness, not size, plays a role here because these pages, I don't think I've read a book printed on such smooth paper. That sounds really odd, but I'm assuming that that's why this is smaller than my Brimstone copy. But anyways, I am yapping and delaying the inevitable because this is a book that I've been avoiding. And like, how you can feel so much FOMO and avoidance for one thing, I don't know. But we've managed to do it, so. I have heard that there's a really big thing about parallels in this book, and I have heard that you're supposed to like read part 1, part 2, and then reread part 1, and then continue the book, which I don't know if I'm going to do just because this is already quite the long book. The audiobook is like 30 hours long, so I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I'm scared, but we're gonna put our headphones on and we're gonna start. The craziest thing is, this is 100 pages. That's wild. My stomach did in fact just growl, so I'm actually gonna have breakfast first, and then we're gonna pick up this book, but I'm gonna do that off camera, so I will see you when we start this book. 6 pages in, and the language used to describe the people who are in Helena's position, so these people in these tanks, is absolutely disgusting. I'm actually really frustrated that I can't find the Alchemized audiobook anywhere. I mean, I can find it, it's out there on the internet, but it's not on Storytel, which is my audiobook app, and it would just come in handy on a walk here or to immersive read, because I feel like immersive reading Alchemized would be so good, like incredibly good. So I'm really annoyed at Storytel for not having the Alchemized edition, because they have it in like German, Dutch, and Polish. But my German is nowhere near good enough to understand Alchemized, and I'm not about to immersively read a book in 2 different languages. Like, that's a recipe for disaster. So unfortunately, no audiobook for this book. But that's okay. Maybe if it ever comes to Storytel in the future, I can do like... Oh, Sorry about that, you've got snow. If it ever comes to storytelling in the future, then I can do like a reread. Come on. Molly, that's a molehill. Anyways, I'm going to finish my walk and finish listening to Florence the Machine, because what else would I be doing? And then have lunch and continue reading. Though I do have to do work today, but that's okay. We can balance. I'm not trying to rush reading Alchemized. I want to make sure that when I'm reading it, I'm focused. I'm back. I have spent the whole day working, sat at my desk, writing emails and doing other things, and now it's time to jump back in. So I am trying not to spill this tea. 30 pages into this book. And as much as I'm trying to understand the world, there's a lot of vocabulary that I just don't know yet, and I think that's okay. I think I'm not the only one struggling to remember what everything means at the beginning, but I think it'll get easier as the book goes on. 30 pages in, and the sheer amount of abuse that has already happened is actually insane, and definitely setting the tone for the rest of the book, I'm imagining. So that's really interesting. Like I said, I've managed to avoid all spoilers for this book. So many people though have said, you know, prepare yourself, and I am. I'm definitely prepared. Well, I don't think I'm prepared, but I am, because I do think that it's going to hit me. Like, I don't think you can be prepared, but I think you can at least try to, if that makes sense. And yeah, so the world so far is really interesting. I mean, the whole mix of alchemy and necromancy is, like I said, a little bit confusing right now, but things are already being explained, and I think that's very helpful to just, from the get-go, just start throwing world building at you. If I remember correctly, this book doesn't really stop throwing world building at you, so I feel like my yellow tab is going to fill up these pages. I'm not sure how I feel about tabbing the book with the sprayed edges, to be honest. You don't really see, I mean, there's not that many in here, but I don't like when my tabs stick out a whole lot anyway, so I feel like it's just nice to have when you're flipping through the pages rather than seeing it from the side. I was really worried about how it would look, but I think it's fine. I have ordered the good tabs, like a big set from Amazon that'll hopefully have some nicer colors. And yeah, so far we've had like one punch to the gut moment when a character talks about what she had to do to help survive in this post-war world. And then we've had a lot of world building tabs and some tabs talking about Helena the FMC. So that's kind of where we're at now, 30 pages in. A lot has happened, but also not enough to really talk about. I think this is going to be a spoiler and non-spoiler review, so I'm just going to put in timestamps if I'm ever going to talk about something that I feel like needs a spoiler warning. We're back in the same spot. Hi. I didn't manage to read all that much before dinner. So yeah, we are on chapter 4 now, which is page 63. So we read a whopping 30 pages, but that's okay. We have the rest of the evening to read as much as we'd like. I think I might switch to my Kindle at some point later on because it's just a bit more comfortable than this book, which feels, honestly, could be heavier than my cat. We're going to continue. Writing wise, I'm really enjoying it. I like the writing. Obviously, we're discussing very complex things, but the writing itself isn't very complex, which I appreciate, because if we were trying to deal with complex things and complex writing, I don't think I'd be enjoying it. Well, not that I wouldn't be enjoying it, I just think it would be harder to get through. And honestly, it's not, the topics are hard to get through, but the writing doesn't make it hard to get through, if that makes sense. So if you just give it like your entire focus, you can kind of fly through it, which is weird to say for a book of this length, but I wouldn't say I've been reading for very long, and I'm already at page 60. So with that being said, it's also taking longer because obviously I'm annotating it. I am kind of tempted. I do have a commonplace journal, and in my commonplace journal I do sometimes write about we have met Kane, and yeah, looking forward. I feel like that's such a weird thing to say, I'm looking forward to the rest of the book, because I know that obviously this book deals with trauma and abuse and post-war plot points, but I'm intrigued, I guess is the right word here. So enough talking. I don't think I'll update you tonight, just because I feel like I'll probably read until late and I don't want to talk late in the night and keep my family up. So I'll probably update you tomorrow with how far I get. The goal is page 100 at least, to be at least 1/10, that's insane, of the way through this book. Look what arrived! I'm so happy. I have been tabbing like crazy. I don't know if you can see, but there's a fair few amount of tabs in the pages that we've read so far. We're gonna be switching these now. But first, I realized that I updated TikTok on a 100-page update, then I forgot to update you guys. I apologize. So we're gonna do that right now. Technically, I've read 50 more pages, so we are technically at 150 pages, but my general page 100 update, I was as prepared as I could be going into this, but I don't think you can be prepared to go into this. The lighting is probably going crazy, the sun is going in and out the clouds, I apologize. I'm really enjoying the writing. I think that it is very descriptive and not too lyrical. It's not, you know, filled with a bunch of metaphors, but it's still very well written, and there is a lot of world building, but I think that Sen Lin Yu does a good job at making it, what's the word? Digestible, I guess? Am I confused? A tad. Do I really know what a vivomancer is? No. But I think I'm gonna do like a little bit of a mind map situation just to help me, because I don't want to go into this book being completely clueless. But I also think going back and redoing my tabs is gonna help me, because obviously I'm gonna need to reread the paragraph or page that I tabbed so that I can tab it correctly, because I'm going to split my world building and magic system one up. We're going to add a few new tabs. I don't know if I'm going to catch on to the parallels, because I don't know if I'm going to be rereading, like I think I'm just going to reread, I think I'm just going to read the book in one go. I don't think I'm going to do going back or anything like that, because I would like to finish this in a timely manner. I also think that if I did that, it might put me in a slump, because I'm not very good at rereading books unless they're like ages apart. Story-wise, we are at the estate, Spindlefire, something like that, and the High Reeve is doing his, I don't know if it's experiments or if it's just work, trying to uncover the memories that Helena has, and it's just mild spoiler warning. It's really interesting reading a book about a girl, a character who wants to protect someone so badly that she is trying her best to, you know, herself. Yeah, it's really interesting. And also the fact that Kane knows that as well and has to put certain things in place to make her not do that. And like, that is her only motivation at the minute. Like, all she's thinking about is how she can manipulate the house, other people, Kane. It's obviously not an easy read, because that's also the main topic of conversation right now. There have been quite a few, like, I wouldn't say relationship building moments, but definitely understanding between the two of them in a way, or just like odd bits of comfort that you wouldn't think would be comforting in this. But anyways, like I said, I am technically on page 150, which is that far. I don't know why, but I'll look at a book on a shelf and go, that's not really that big. And then you're reading, you're like, okay, that is big. But honestly, maybe because I'm used to its size now, I'm like, it's not that big. Anyways, let's read. Well, let's change over the tabs. We're gonna pick our tabs and continue reading. Update time. We are now 278 pages through, which means that we have hit part 2. Honestly, looking at the dent I've made is kind of insane. Like, I'm proud of myself. That's really weird to think, because obviously I've read books my entire life. But the fact that I've made a significant dent in this. Like, imagine how I'm gonna feel when I'm like here, you know? Anyways, that's besides the point. Part 1 is now done. The last, like, since page 200, I would say, maybe just before that, we really got the influence of The Handmaid's Tale, which everyone's been talking about. I have not read nor watched this yet. It's on my list to do, but I haven't gotten around to doing it. Do I know the general gist of what happens? Yes. And it, like, the first 200%, the first, like, around the 200 page mark is where it's not happening to Helena yet. Sorry if you can hear the rain. It's gonna be really nice to read with, but maybe like the 200, I don't even know why I'm trying to guesstimate numbers. Only recently has this been affecting Helena. And the way that it is written is like, I can tell it's good writing when it's making me feel the things that I'm feeling, you know? We are going to get through part 2 now. The fact that, like, you're just going through so many emotions reading this book because of all the emotions that Helena goes through and having to, I mean, it's just so interesting to have the aspect of her memories being wiped. Like, obviously we're in a book that's in post-war and very dystopian and brutal, but then also so not only does she have to survive this world, but she also, like, the added layer of the memories bit and the discovering this, I also think we're gonna get a lot more in this next part, if I'm understanding what people are saying correctly. So yeah, I guess we should just get reading. I'm scared, but I'm so intrigued. Good morning, guys. Where did my voice go? I don't know. I do have work today. Am I centered? I do have work today, so we're basically just gonna see how much I can read up until then. We need to lock in. Not that I haven't been locking in, but we are, oh wait, no, I read further on my Kindle. How far did I read on my Kindle? Chapter 25. I need to transfer my annotations into this, and we can continue. I have no idea how long part 2 is. But part 2 is basically her memories, I guess. The memories that she lost, I'm assuming, because we are now back 4 years later to the height of the war. And yeah, I don't know what to expect. All that I know to expect is this whole parallels thing that people are talking about. Because I'm assuming now, basically, maybe not everything that's happened to Helena in her time at Spirefell, is that what the estate's called? At Farron's estate, is going to happen in reverse now, so Helena's going to be doing that to Farron, is my understanding as of right now. Is that what the parallels are? I thought that the parallels are that she just went through the same thing twice. Maybe that was a dumb thought, but I guess the only way to find out is to read. I feel like I say that every single vlog, is that I'll say something and then I go, well, I guess the only way to find out is to read. But it's true. Let's put our annotations in. I think we're around the 300 mark page. So I guess that's the 300 page update. Apologies if you hear my cat playing on the floor. She's not stopping anytime soon, so we're just gonna continue. I don't think I've updated you in potentially over 200 pages. My bad, but I actually can't put this book down. It is taking me quite a while to read just because I feel like I'm trying to be as attentive as possible and taking note of like every single detail because the writing is so well done. Like genuinely so well done. The attention to detail is so good. I'm really loving the character work right now. I know that part 2 is a super long part, and I'm assuming it's going to span all the way up until the end of the war. I'm like running out of tabs. I literally used my entire tabs for like the two characters, like the FMC and the OMC have a certain interaction. Well, it's not exactly a specific interaction, it's just like this interaction seems important and it's character building or an emotional interaction or they're opening up or anything along the lines of the character dynamics between the two of them. And I'm done. I've finished and we are not even halfway. And I feel like there's even more of that to come in this book. So I think I'm gonna go through Willow. So I feel like we're gonna go through a lot. I'm gonna sort my cat out and then continue reading because like I said, I can't put this book down. Morning guys. I have been loving reading this book on my Kindle so far. It's going by so much faster, and then I get to just spend 10 minutes going back and annotating it, everything, which also helps just like remember stuff, if that makes sense. We've had a lot of moments between Kane and Helena. A lot of, you know, their feelings are obviously stemming from a lot of loneliness in where they are. My tummy is making so many noises because I had to make my coffee with cream this morning. So I feel like that's gonna be my tummy for the rest of the day. But anyways, as I was saying, I feel like at the minute their relationship and their emotional connection like stems from their loneliness in the world. I mean, they both, I guess because of the jobs that they now have and that they've been assigned to do, they're very removed from everybody. Obviously Helena's removed from the rest of her friends, from Luke, from Lila, and she's having to deal with this horrible man. And you know, that's going to, if you spend so much time with them, and she's obviously trying to heal him, which, you know, to heal someone that you know has murdered lots of people, it's quite the crazy circumstance. So we're kind of dealing with the aftermath of Helena kind of trying to come to terms with what she's feeling and what she's thinking. And yeah, we're so close to halfway. I've been measuring my progress with the sprayed edges and how far until I get to the end of this hood. We're like nearly halfway through the hood, which is crazy because I remember being here and thinking that was far. Anyways, I have work today. Might sporadically read on my Kindle, but I do have like work at home that I need to do before I leave for work, and we'll see. It is a Friday today, which means that it's the weekend tomorrow, which means that I cannot feel guilty about spending the entire day reading. I'm thinking we might be able to finish this by the weekend, which would be ideal, even though I was hoping to finish this before the month ends, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Maybe if I had access to the audiobook, but I don't. So I'm just gonna continue with my day and update you where I can. I'm ready for work. It's like a bajillion degrees today. It genuinely feels like spring and it's so nice, but it's really teasing because I know it's not gonna last. But that did make getting dressed really hard because I took my dog out and I put like my Ferrari jacket, which is kind of like a windbreaker, I guess, on, and I was sweating. So then now I've got on a cardigan and a tank and my little red rally flats to hopefully help me cool down, because even with just this cardigan on, it's warm, which is kind of crazy. But anyways, I'm off to work and we're going to try to read. I usually get to work early, which means that I can read for like half an hour before I actually start. And then on the bus, I have like a half an hour voice message waiting for me from bestie Lena. So not going to be getting around to reading. We're going to be locked in on the voice message. We'll come back and read. I had a really unproductive day. I didn't get like anything done work-wise that I meant to get done before leaving. That's Willow. 1 second. Hello? I think we're really tilted. Sorry about that. I didn't get any of the work done that I wanted to, which is annoying. I'll try to get done when I'm back because I don't want to have to do this weekend. So I'm sweating and it's only 16 degrees, which is nice. I love 16 degrees, but I'm sweating. We have a deadline now. I have to finish this book in 3 days. I've been mainly reading on my Kindle, so I am on chapter 58, which is this far into the book. Page 728, which is kind of insane. For the fact that I haven't been very good at sitting down and reading this in large chunks recently, I'm kind of shocked that's how far we've got. But like I said, we have 3 days to complete this book, which realistically is possible. Am I going to make it harder for myself somehow? Probably. Now, the reason why I have 3 days to complete this book is, one, it's put me in a little bit of a reading slump, I'm not gonna lie. Like the last week, I would say, I've been slumping, which is really, really sad. And not because it's a bad book, and not because I'm like not enjoying picking it up. I think it's just because it's so long and I'm not getting any dopamine from finishing a book recently, or like finishing the book that I'm reading. So it's harder to pick up. I'm not really sure. I don't want to bring this. I'm going out the country and I don't want to bring this book with me. Mentally, well, like in my head, I want to finish this book physically and not on my Kindle. Don't know why. And I just don't want to have to take this out the country. It's way too big to have to do that, and I don't want to finish it on my Kindle. So we have 3 days to lock in and finish the last 300 pages. So realistically, if I read 100 pages every single day, we should be good. Ideally, we want to read more than 100 pages though. But either way, we need to lock in. So I'm going to make a coffee and go read downstairs, change it up a little bit. Oh, do you want a footrest? Your ass is in my face. Not a horrible thing, but I'm really scared about the sturdiness of this. Sorry. I'm just reading and then I just topple over. You have it open. The construction's kind of not helping the audio, but okay. I'm going to attempt to finish the last 50 pages of this book. I haven't felt like crying yet. I hope I do. What a statement. I hope I do. It's kind of hard to read when this is your review. I know, that's why I haven't started yet. That's why I'd really like to work out here, but I have a feeling I will get no work done. Bro, they slapped a fucking picture on it. I didn't even know it was there. I feel like the crime has begun. Done. So, you all saw that I finished this book. When I first pressed finish on Goodreads and then decided to give it a rating, I gave it 5 stars. But now that it's been a hot minute since I picked this up, I've revoked that 5 stars because I honestly don't really know how I feel about this book. I don't know how to rate it. I feel like giving it a number. Like some books I feel so strongly about the number that I give them, and then other times I just don't, and this is one of those books. The more that I thought about it, like once I was removed from the book and then I started thinking about it to make this like last review, I guess. Although I think that the story was good, it did put me in a reading slump, and yes, that was the book's fault. I felt like the world building was a bit odd. Like, what do you mean there's magic and this resonance and stuff, but then there's cars and cameras and I'm assuming, you know, paper machines to make the newspaper and stuff. And you're super intelligent because of the things that you can do to people, yet you're going into battle with swords. That didn't make sense. I also thought that it was so repetitive, like part 2. If you think about it, it's just the same thing over and over again. Same as part 1, but it just wasn't as long. But in part 2, it's just every chapter was the same thing. One person's getting saved by the other person. you're going back and forth to the same places. I understood to a certain degree that we need to see that to see what was happening, but at some point that could have been a talent show rather than some other things that were being told to us and not shown to us. But also at the end of the day, it was just two characters who were doing anything that they could to get some semblance of a happy ending. I could see myself rereading this. I think this is a book that I definitely could. I don't know, like I still enjoyed it. I feel like enjoy is the wrong word just because there's nothing happy that happens in this book, really. I liked the idea of everything in this book, and what we did get was good, but I feel like we could have had more. Then obviously if we had more, this would have been triple the size. So I feel like, I don't know what I feel like. But also I can completely understand why people find this book to be like a 6-star read, like an absolute god tier book. I really do. And I think that, I don't know, I feel like even though I gave myself time to give myself the space to think about this book, I still don't really have anything concrete to say. But anyways, if you've read this book, let me know. What were your thoughts? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Is it a god tier for you? Let me know, and I will see you in the next vlog.